Buckle up, everybody, and welcome back to Second Cup. I'm your host, Tim Heller. Today's guest is my badass cousin, Mary Grace Heller. MG is a beautiful soul originally from Atlanta who has newly relocated to Denver with her boyfriend by way of Chicago. Now, in this episode, we talk a lot about my family, and so I wanted to give you a quick rundown of names and relations. Kevin is my brother, who is 18 months younger than I am. Annie is my sister, who is about 4 years younger than I am. Ray and Cathy are my parents, and Patrick is her brother. If you've been listening to the show and enjoying it, I'd like to invite you to show support for Second Cup in any of the following ways. First is by sharing episode links on social media and tagging @TimHellerCreative. Second is by rating, leaving reviews, and subscribing in Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you're consuming podcasts. And finally, if you want to support financially, you can Venmo @TimHellerCreative or reach out to me via email at tim@timhellercreative.com to discuss sponsoring one or several episodes. Any and all of these actions mean a ton and help boost the show's visibility. And any financial support is going directly into sending some gifts to my guests and hiring someone to help me manage the boatload of content I have so I can properly promote them all. Now, top off your beverage, get comfy, and enjoy this episode of Second Cup with Mary Grace Heller. IMG.
Sorry, I had to change my setup. It didn't look good.
No, it's all good.
Good morning, Tim.
Good morning, Mary Grace.
Oh my
How
God,
are you?
are we doing like 2 minutes and then like we're going?
Oh no, we are going. We have gone. Do you need a second?
I just gotta reach over there and grab my coffee and water.
Reach away.
30 seconds.
Go get it. 30 seconds. I'm counting.
I gotta fill my water. That was a joke. I lied.
29, 30.
Live.
How are you?
Okay. I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm feeling very good today.
Me too.
Very relaxed.
This is the earliest I've woken up and talked to somebody. So
Ever.
I feel like yeah.
So
probably.
we're witnessing history right now.
Yes, that's what I was saying.
Wow.
It's like this is like you're doing this podcast. It's like the year first. I feel like for everyone. That's where I'm at. Because just so you know, and everyone else knows, it's 7 a.m. in Denver, Colorado.
It
so
is.
I just want to get credit there.
Yes.
So
We'll send you credit in the comments and in ratings. This is going to be the most credited episode of Second Cup yet.
well, I need a certification. I need a certification of that or something.
Yeah, I'll print out a receipt. I'll print out a certificate for you.
Yeah. Yeah, print out all the comments and it's just like me being like, where's my certification?
Where is it? I'm still waiting. Well, Mary Grace Heller, for those listening, is my amazing cousin. First cousin, which in an Irish Catholic family, first cousins, there are several layers of cousins, and they just keep going. It's like they just multiply like rabbits.
But I am layer 1, which is the best layer of an onion, if you will.
Sure. Yeah, I buy
Peel
that.
that away.
Yep, it's the first layer consumed in a bloomin' onion.
Oh,
well,
yeah, sure.
Mary Grace, how are you? How's Denver? Catch me up on kind of what you've been up to with Sam since you guys moved.
Yeah, totally. So, honestly, I feel like I've just taken a breath this past week. I didn't realize how much moving would impact my brain, my body, and being able to take a step back and realize where I am and everything. So I feel like we've just settled in. We've hung up a mirror and a canvas and I'm done,
Boom,
it just
decorated.
Feels really good that it's it feels good that we bought plants, and we went to IKEA literally the day after we moved.
Wow.
I got my meatballs. I got plants. We got more. We went for pink plates and bowls, just all kinds of fun.
I love it.
The fun just kind of, I needed to switch the fun off in a different way, Yeah. So now I'm sitting here in my tuxedo shirt. Just wanted to point that out really quick.
Classy AF, absolutely.
I'm formal, but I'm here to party because this is that kind of situation for me,
Yeah.
But overall, great. Thank you for asking. how's your new studio? It's looking glamorous.
Thank you. I love it. It's been amazing. It's kind of been a whirlwind. And I'm trying to find some of that still fun, that settled fun that you're talking about.
Yeah.
We remodeled the studio, and
you're a little
immediately
handyman.
after, my friend George
Bob the
taught me a
Builder.
lot. But we completed the studio, and then it was pretty much immediately into I saw you at the family reunion, and then I came back, and it was right into this gig that just took over the entire month of August. So I've been living in this room for 5 weeks, and it's been awesome. It's been a total dream come true.
So Jess just like hands you a plate of food.
Yeah, she just slides Cliff Bars under the door. Yeah.
Ooh, yes. We've done that. We've got, so Sam all of a sudden got a membership to Costco. So we have 30 Cliff Bars, 20 cans of milk, some coconut water shoved in there. So
cans of milk?
Experience. Yeah, like the box milk. I guess that was the cheapest option. I haven't really dived into that.
Are they selling milk in like soda cans now? That'd be...
Yeah,
like water has moved to box.
No, they're bringing it back to the glass bottles, and there's like little milkman. Like Sam came home with a little milkman outfit. But yeah, little almond milk for you. But yeah, I feel that. I love Cliff Bars, but they're kind of, that hard point of, you're really just supposed to have it on a hike. So I've been trying to find an alternative protein snack.
Not in every meal. Food.
It has been every meal. So then this is a conversation where I'm realizing don't do it for every meal, because you're just so busy. It's right there.
We are not sponsored by Cliff Bar yet, but Cliff Bar, if you're listening.
Not yet.
We're listening
we love
to you.
Yeah. Shout out. We'll give you a certification.
Yes. Well, back to what you were saying about getting your head and body right on, like, with the move and everything. I know you want to talk about mental health today, and I just wanted, and it's such a deeply rooted subject in our family.
Totally.
And so I would love to just have you take it away and kind of kick it off with what you'd want to dive into.
Yeah, totally. I think what I really perceive right now is kind of like what I was talking about, and as far as giving yourself that time, right? And giving yourself time to step back in your own life. And I think that I'm not good at that. And I think it's important to, like, very important, if you see that something's wrong, either set a boundary for yourself or from others, or just figure out what you need to do, right? And I think that's most challenging for me, even at like night. I think nighttime is like my most challenging because I want to pick up a book. It's actually on my table right now, and I carry it like everywhere I go, but I literally haven't read it in a week. So I think like that push, but then it's like with my therapist, she's like, just reading a page is fine. I'm like, no, it's not good enough.
It's either everything or nothing.
Yes. So I'm trying to find the balance in that is what I'm trying to say at 7:06 in the morning.
Yeah. So which is hard when our family is full of addicty genes, and that all or nothing mentality is just prevalent.
Here's the cup one of 3 cups of coffee probably, So again, finding that, I'm actually proud of myself. Matcha is a little new go-to for me as far as breaking that balance, which is ironic because I know what the podcast is called, but I'm breaking the silence.
It can be a cup of whatever you'd like, even if you're drinking. If you're having if you're having an alcoholic beverage in the morning, I'm not going to judge.
There it is. That's what I was looking for.
The permission.
Matcha?
And you're like, Bailey, let's go.
You're like, hell yeah. Matcha, yes. Matcha with, I highly recommend matcha. And then I got a whisk. Amazon gets you. They just get you. It's a bamboo whisk, okay? And you go zigzag with it. And it's fun because you're preparing it. I know I'm jumping, but again, I have ADHD, so that's just how we roll. That's how we roll with mental health.
We're going to go with it.
One thing to the next. But I love it because it gives me that sense of, it's not like sometimes you feel guilty if you're going back for another cup of coffee and the jitters start to come. But matcha is really fun because you do the zigzag motion, wait for it to foam, and then almond milk, boxed almond milk. And then my hidden go-to is pistachio syrup. A dream, just chef's kiss.
Whoa.
And then iced. I've done hot matcha, but it's not the same, but just a dabble of pistachio syrup, and it's just so good.
Do you find that's you like that because it's a ritual that feels like it's okay if I do these processes, if I go through this process, it's rewarding to me, and is it calming to you? Or is it like, how does that, where do you find the satisfaction?
A change. I think I'm very, I love change. I embrace it. And so that's another aspect of trying something new, and bringing that to the table is realizing I can do anything, that kind of little inspiration in the day. But then what you were saying about ritual, I think what I find really hard is nighttime routine, morning routine. I got it. I bet you have a really good one. Do you have a really good one?
Routine? I had one. I took 3 days off from it, but this morning I got back on it. Yeah.
Oh,
I'm not as good as Kevin is. Kevin is religious about it, and it is.
He's a wizard with that.
He will wake up at 5:30 or 6 every single day, and it is straight to his journal, and then he meditates, and then he'll go and just run, and then he's done. I so admire that about him.
Yeah, exactly. He has it down, and and then just look at his mental health, right? Look at how he's prospering.
Processing and prospering.
That's honestly shout out to Kevin. That's something that I want to achieve. To me, he feels balanced, and I know that he's had his ups and downs, and we all have. So I think again, finding that little balance in your day is important. But mine is just in the bathroom. That's my
just when you're pooping.
Routine. Yeah. Just straight up, boom, plop. I mean, I got my coffee here, so.
Yeah. But time is limited. And for everybody listening, Kevin is my brother, and he is... he
Enigma.
Yes, he's amazing. He's an incredible human being. I won't tell his story for him, but he's awesome. With what you said about taking a step back, what do you mean that you're trying to take a step back? Just from... Because I know this move from... So the move from... You grew up in Atlanta. And then
Correct.
You moved to...
Which I just want to say, which I learned is cool now.
Oh, look at you.
People
cool
here
girl.
are just I'm a cool girl. Look at my shirt and my glasses. But yeah, this is another thing that I'm trying to work on is interruptions. So
that's okay.
That's just kind of what I do because I'm thoughts, zoom.
Out they come.
Yeah. But yeah, we met this cute couple in the park the other day. We have a cute little park, kitty corner to us. Yes, I do. Kitty corner is very Midwestern, but they were saying that a lot of Midwestern people come here. So I was I'm from Atlanta. I moved from Chicago, but I'm from Atlanta. And they're oh, fun. And he was from Florida. So it was it's good to kind of have that different conversation of just kind of plop it in there.
Yeah.
Like a poo.
Yeah. Like a poo.
But yeah, anyway.
So
continue.
how was that? What was that taking a step back, and what were you taking a step back from when you were talking about that? Because you moved from growing up in Atlanta to going to St. Mary's in Indiana, and right next to Notre Dame, and then to Chicago for a while, and then the move to Denver. And so I'd love to hear about why people move. Are they moving away from something towards something? Just because my family grew up moving a ton. Jess's family did a little bit, but mostly we're in one place for a really long time. And so I'd love to just hear what that experience is like, and what are you thirsting for?
Great question. Love that. I mean, there's a lot. I feel because I've been talking about this. I think Sam and I had our first real conversation about this New Year's Eve, actually, at a Ethiopian restaurant. It was wonderful. Just kind of diving into, are we going to do this? So I think that's what really kind of brought me to the moment of August 1st, right? Because we knew that we wanted to make this transition, or at least I did, right? And I wanted to be like, do you want to come along in this journey with me, life partner? But it was also what really helped me was telling people. I think that if I vocalize, I'd really like to move to somewhere. And it wasn't really Denver, but I think we kind of nudged our way in here because it was like not too hot, not too cold. Like we're like, we don't mind snow, you know, like Midwestern Sam has really influenced me, as you can tell. But again, I think it just goes back to change and realizing like we visited here in June and just saying like, yeah, it can work, and not being like, you know, this might not work, and, you know, the traffic's heavy and it's going to be X, Y, and Z in the negative. I've done like A through X in the positive right now. And just looking at like, I can just go kitty corner to that park and it's on a little hill, so you can see the ridge of the mountains. And it's just so warming. Like I literally just sat and was working on Annie's bachelorette party, which we figured out a little bit. And just like looking at the sunset. So I think it's the little things too, beyond just thirsting for it. It's just, I love the space here. I love how open it is. But it was really just kind of talking about it for 6 to 8 months and just knowing, kind of seeing the pattern of, okay, I got to find a place. Okay, I got to tell work. Okay, you know, and just continuing on that and not giving up. I think that was important to me. And knowing that Chicago was, I was totally fine with leaving it behind. And that's what really felt good to me, to be honest, was just, I can come back. That's what I even told Annie. I was like, Annie, calm down. I'll come back, you know, and if I want to, and it's just, if not now, when? I think that's a good summary, is what I've said to people. If not now, when?
Was that kind of the jumping off point that initiated the move? Was that you just wanted change, or you knew you wanted to go somewhere else and experience something else? Or was it something completely different?
Yeah, I think it was, you know, I feel like, I don't know if a lot of people say this, but I'm proud of myself. I'm proud of where I've come from as far as like finding myself and realizing, you know, I do have anxiety. I do have ADHD. I do, like, sometimes I don't know how to calm down. Sometimes I'm agitated, and Sam knows it. You know, so finding all that out and being able to figure out why and when and stuff like that has really helped me to realize that, you know, I want the outdoors. I want the space. But it really was that Chicago wasn't what I thought it was going to be perfectly frank. I was there. Like, I look back and I'm like, oh my God, like, I've been there for 4 years. I think relationships altered in ways that I didn't see and didn't expect, in good ways and bad. Like, shout out to the Heller family. Like, that's the reason I'm so sad that I left, to be perfectly frank. Like, they're my other sense of home, right? And I've told people that, like, they were like, why Chicago? And I was like, family and booze. I don't know, you know? So, but now I'm just like, I'm not into that anymore, right? Like, I love yoga. Like, yes,
you hate family, you hate booze.
Yeah. I hate myself. There's nothing good about anything happening. So I think that's kind of, you know, I knew I guess this whole past year that I was looking for something, and I guess the move kind of helped me find that something. And I still haven't found it, right? But, you know, now I know that with this job, it's temporary. And I actually I had an interview last week with a mental wellness company. It's an all-woman team. So I'm excited to see where that goes.
Congratulations.
And, you know, like, thank you. So I think it's like those little things like that, where it's, would I have found that in Chicago? Probably. But everything that's happened in the past couple of years have been, you know, this is what I want to do. And with my the little time of reading a book, it's like, that's what I want to do. But then the little, even the bigger things of, I know I want to work in mental health kind of thing. Yeah. So finding that balance, and if Denver gives that to me, great. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But I think I love the change, and I love to try.
That's awesome. I love that. Love the change, and I love to try. And one of the other things I love that you said is just that you were proud of yourself. Because I had a friend last week ask if I had allowed myself to be proud of myself for like finishing this job and just the way that work has been going and all this stuff. And it totally caught me off guard. I was like, yes, I don't know. Oh God. But I wanted, if you're okay talking about it, I'd love to learn more about how you got to that place of giving yourself permission to be proud of yourself. Cause I think that's so important.
Totally.
I feel like people listening may find it valuable. I know I would, just selfishly, I would love to know, because
I'll get
I think
there.
it's really special that you found that for yourself.
Yes. Amen to that. I would say shout out Francesca, my therapist in Chicago. She just like reminded, like we went through a lot of things. She was a CBT based therapist, but she took me through a lot of things, and then just little pockets of, hey, give yourself self-compassion. Hey, look at, I was worried about like switching jobs from the one in commercial real estate to this one. And she was like, hey, look how far you've come. Hey, like you figured out you have ADHD. Like she was the one to be like, take a breath. And honestly, shout out to Cathy too, because I think she always told me, like, she was always like, I'm proud of you. I'm like, oh,
That's weird.
why? Yeah.
Whoa.
Tell me more. I know Ray did that too. He just does it in such like a happy, like he skips to me,
We give him so much shit because growing up with Ray Heller, if you like sneezed and it was a good sneeze, or it was like you got snot out, he'd be like, "Oh my gosh, good sneeze, Tim." And we were like, we grew up. We all grew up playing soccer. Excuse me, playing soccer, and I'd like have a kick in the backyard, and I just like pass him the ball and be like, "Oh my gosh, that was the best pass I've ever seen."
Powerful.
Yeah, there was zero lack
I
of
know, it's
parental
unbelievable,
support.
just the happiness that he just. But yeah, that's kind of in a nutshell. Yeah, I mean, outside of therapy, I know you have to take the time for yourself, right? And be like, hell yeah, I am proud of myself. Like, you're right, honey. So yeah, I haven't said it out loud in so long either. So I think it's important to conduct these conversations in which you are doing, and just say it. And I think it's okay to be open, and it's okay to just say that you're proud. And it can be so humbling to me in a way, Yeah.
Do you want to say it again just to drive it home?
I'm proud of myself.
I'm
proud of myself. Like Morse code or something.
Beep, 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 beep. Apologies to anybody who actually knows Morse code and heard that, because I don't know what I just said or spelled.
Nope, we got it all wrong. Don't listen to us.
So I know that the other thing that you said you wanted to talk about was that you wanted to be the interviewer.
Oh yeah. So I was just gonna spitball, and
Great.
I got because I could have taken notes, but I'll blame it on Annie, because we had our business meeting yesterday about bachelorette party, and so
Annie is my sister.
Adderall,
for those who don't know, Annie is my sister, and Mary Grace is maid of honor.
Annie. And yeah, so that got me really sidetracked. So literally, shout out to her though. She's figuring her shit out, and I'm like, because she's got a routine of going to bed at 9 and waking up at 5:30. So I'm like, I gotta fit in time, because the time change.
Yeah.
Because she's also Eastern. So we met at literally 5:30, and then 6:30 I think we stopped talking, and then next thing you know, it was 9 p.m. and I was still looking at Airbnbs. That's just the way my brain works. It just rolls and rolls and rolls. So
I feel that.
Was I going to write down questions for you? Heck yeah, I was. But here we are. But I woke up and I was like, remember, I think we started this podcast with this is the first time I've woken up and talked to somebody at 7:00 a.m. Mountain Time. So I was like, let's ask Tim a question of first. That's all I came up with. So, let's see. What was the first moment you had that you were like, I want to do voice acting. Voice acting is for me.
It was in a class in New York that it really drove it home. Leading up to that class with Andy Roth, who's a casting director in New York City for voiceovers. If you're in New York and you haven't taken his class and you want to do voiceover, absolutely go do it. If he's still teaching it, 5-week class, it was awesome.
Cool.
But leading up to that, it was
I didn't know that.
a couple of people in a show that we were doing. And before we left for the show, had started to say, hey, you should start really looking into voiceover. You're doing all these stupid voices. And I think you'd find a lot of joy
since you've been born.
Actually, though, I think back to it and I'm like, okay, doing all of these, like the Beavis and Butthead when I was in the crib, and then doing all the Jim Carrey and Mike Myers impersonations growing up. And
Yes.
all this, just being so obnoxious and like desperately needing attention.
Breaking Bad was, I think, number 1 for me.
Oh my
Stewie's
God.
Number 2. Yeah.
Breaking
Like
Bad is so offensive.
Anybody in Family Guy is like, I know, but like, it's almost not because you like become him in a way. So I think he would be maybe proud. I don't know.
We'll never know.
Yeah, I'll never. Okay. Let's see. When was the first time you had coffee?
First time I had coffee, it was probably in high school. First time I had like a sip of it was when I was a little kid. I remember asking my mom if I could try it. And I was like, you drink this? This is fucking gross. And I didn't really start drinking coffee regularly until I started dating Jess in college. Because she was like knocking back 5, 6, 8 cups a day and holding it down like a freaking boss. And she doesn't get jittery. She also drinks remarkably slow. Any kind of liquid, even if it's just a cup of water, but it'll take her 3 hours to drink a glass of wine just because she'll just be like, it's insane. But yeah, so I really started drinking it in college, like sophomore year of college, because Jess had a fancy coffee machine and there was just no choice.
Was it a Keurig?
It was like a
French press
Keurig method of making the coffee where you had like a little disc instead of a cup, and it was very good. I mean, it got me hooked.
Wow.
And I just wanted her to like me.
I just thought of a good one. That's really good. That's awesome. Shout out to Jess for influencing caffeine. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the juxtaposition of being like, ew, to I love you. I love coffee.
I can't survive without it now. No.
Nice. Let's see. When was the first time you felt? Yeah, this is gonna ask. It's deeper. We've gone
great,
or maybe this way. However you look at it. When was the first time you felt like you loved yourself?
Shit.
Yeah.
Okay, so this may come as a surprise to a lot of people, but I like really, really did not like myself growing up, like really hated myself. And I think it never got to the point where I was suicidal, but there were points where I started to think like, is this going to be how I feel for the rest of my life? Because I felt like while I had friends and stuff like that, I just felt like I couldn't click. I felt like I was always on the outskirts of friend groups. And like I was decent friends with a lot of different people. And I've still got like right now I feel so blessed because I've got some really, really like deep relationships with people. But I really struggled like middle school, high school, even in elementary school. But I found solace in the theater and really loved like those people and being able to just be weird and do what I needed to do and express myself in that way. But I think I really started to love myself. Honestly, the most I've progressed in my relationship with myself has probably been in this last year. Just with getting sober and my back being fixed finally after 11 years of debilitating pain. Like that was another huge proponent of this like despair that I was feeling underneath that really drove a lot of my addictive behaviors was being in pain every single day for 11 years and just seeing my body not being able to do what it used to be able to do. I felt like my creative brain was completely clogged, and I could also see my physical appearance changing from the depression and sadness and eating and drinking and all of that stuff. So I really do feel like, short answer long, that's it, you know. It's
no,
but
I
think
mean,
so this year is really, I've started to appreciate, like, oh, I am able to do hard things. And I'm somebody who, I think this is a Heller trait as well, as instead of finding stillness when I need to, I'll get busy. And I've been forced to find some stillness this year.
Yes.
And have to process and have had some people kind of check me and be like, hey, stop being an asshole to yourself and like take a second to appreciate what you've been able to do.
Yeah. Be proud. Be loud, be proud.
Yeah.
I really liked what you said as far as like, you said that you felt clogged. I think you said specifically like your creative brain was clogged, but I think clogged is a good word. You know, the more you say it, the weirder it gets, but it was, that makes so much sense to me, where it's like, you got to let it out somehow. Right. And you found that way. And yes, you're in pain for 11 years. And that just, that pains me that you went through that and you did it. And now you're kind of on top of the mountain, you reached the peak, and I don't think you're ever going to come down. So I think that's beautiful that you've worked so hard to be where you're at. And I think we kind of have that reflection piece of, just reflect, right? I guess is what I'm trying to say. And don't forget like where you've come from,
Mm-hmm.
like the hard
It's okay
knocks
to
kind of stuff.
find that stillness.
Heller family. That's the other thing. Clogged and, what was it? Something about the Heller family, staying busy.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I always say. I'm like, anxiety assessments. I'm like, do you feel like you can't relax? I'm like, several days, and like more than half the days. So I think I'm trying to find that balance, especially with Adderall non-ADHD. So I feel that I hear you, I feel you, and you're doing great, and I'm doing great. And
thanks, MG.
We're killing it out here, I think.
Yeah, we're out here just figuring it out.
We out here.
Yep. Well, thank you for waking up early to do this. I appreciate it, and I love you very,
You're
very
so
much.
welcome. It's so fun.
Really admire you and how you've navigated this past several years and the past couple months, even just with everything that's been going on.
Thank you.
I do have some quick fire questions for you to wrap us up.
Okay.
All right, ready? What's a nickname that your parents used to call you?
Megace. Oh wait, that's Patrick.
Can you just say it again?
He can't say ours. Megace. So I think they used to. I don't know if that's parents. Next question.
I'll take it. Who inspires you right now?
Myself.
Fuck yeah. What's a piece of content or book or something that you can't get enough of?
Ooh. Oh no. Oh no. It's gonna leave me. Can I put it in the comments later? Because my brain won't remember, but it's this cute little book on like, she brings in like her turmoil and her anxiety and all of, I don't know if she was bipolar, but it's just like, she brings her life together in the funniest way, but it's just so well like written. So
yes,
it has a picture of like a fox on the front kind of thing.
Okay.
And it's like, it's beautiful. Okay.
Text me when you figure that out and I'll throw it in the description.
Okay.
And last question, you can only have pizza one more time. Where from and what's on it?
Shoot. Can I cuss? Shit. Honestly, my brain immediately went to Domino's. Their hand tossed pizza, extra cheese, peppers, onions, pepperoni, side of garlic sauce, and then side of ranch.
Ooh, dirty.
And then the molten lava cake, obviously.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know why people don't get that, but it was literally my birthday cake for like my 22nd birthday. Like, it's absolutely the greatest thing I've ever tasted.
People sleep on
And-
Domino's and they hate on it. And I'm,
Yes.
like when David Chang, the chef, said that he was a fan of
Yeah,
Domino's, I finally felt safe to say, I too love Domino's pizza.
Yeah, especially like with you growing up in Chicago, you like that's what I said. I had that moment of like, oh, shit, should I say like, something else? Like
I think my pizza
Pequod's
would
is
still
good.
be
Pequod's.
would be a Lou's pizza, like an entire Lou's pepperoni supreme pizza with like
Okay.
pep and tons of veg and spinach.
Pep.
But I love Domino's pizza.
Oh, also shout out to Home Run Inn too, because I'm just kind of like cheap on the cheap
People
side of life.
don't know
So it's like
what that is here because it's not anywhere. And I saw it in a grocery store at
You
some
can't
point
get it.
somewhere. And I think maybe a couple of the grocery stores here have it. But if you live in the Midwest and you haven't had Home Run Inn pizza yet, or you don't live in the Midwest and you want to try it, you need to try it. And also Home Run Inn, Domino's, Lou Malnati's like sponsored this show. And I
Yes.
will say whatever you want.
yes,
And we're only
Screw
eat pizza
Cliff Bars,
for
screw them.
the... Yeah.
But yeah,
Home Run Inn
totally,
is
honestly.
the supreme frozen pizza.
I know, and they have a store, right? Like a brick and mortar.
I
Question mark?
wouldn't know. We only would get the...
Yeah, I know.
They probably
I swear to
do.
God, I've seen it like on the L, but what do I know?
Yeah. Apparently not enough.
Apparently.
MG, thank you again for doing this. I love you, and please say hi to Sam for me and enjoy
Yes.
Denver. And
Yes.
I cannot wait to see you again, hopefully soon.
Yes, please come here. Please come here.
I
We have a bedroom.
Absolutely will.
We have a
Perfect.
spare bedroom. But yes, thank you for this time. I love this podcast. It's so fun.
Thank
I might
you.
have to come for a round two.
I think you
but
should.
I love you, and I love what you're doing with life. And yeah, thank you
Thank
for
you.
having me.
Of course. I love you. Bye.
Love you. Bye.
Thank you kindly for listening to this episode of Second Cup featuring my cousin, Mary Grace Heller. If you want to follow along with MG's Denver shenanigans, you can follow her on Instagram at MGHammer21. That's MGHAMMER21 on Instagram. This show is recorded and produced by Tim Heller Creative, LLC. If you enjoyed this episode or any of the others, I invite you to show support in any of the following ways. First is by sharing episode links on social media and tagging at Tim Heller Creative. Second is by rating, subscribing, and leaving reviews in Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you consume podcasts. And finally, if you want to support financially, you can Venmo at Tim Heller Creative or reach out to me via email at tim@timhellercreative.com to discuss sponsoring one or several episodes. All funds will be used directly to improve the show and provide the best experience for guests and listeners alike. Tune in next time for another incredible conversation and hopefully learn something pretty neat from a pretty neat person. Bye.